You're listening to Living with Louie. Well, hello, folks, and welcome to this week's edition of Living with Louie. I'm your host of this program, Larry Henderson, and I think this week I would like to go back and revisit a subject that I did a previous episode on. The episode actually aired around November 15th, and it was about showtime and overstimulation. And I think that um, certainly the folks that are listening that live with Lewy body and live with dementia understand that we really don't want people um, to look at us and see our disease. We want people to look at us and see us, and we want to appear to be doing as well as what we possibly can. And so we kind of tend to put on this show, if you will, when people come around, when loved ones come around, and people visit during the holidays. And interestingly enough, last week we met Debra Kostiw. Debra Kostiw runs a YouTube channel, Answers About Alzheimer's, and she's the author of #1 bestseller, Forget Me Not. And I, after meeting Debra and deciding that we were going to collaborate on a couple of things over the holidays, I happened to catch a piece that she was doing on one of the shorts that she actually puts up on her Answers About Alzheimer's YouTube channel. And I have to tell you that just this says it's called Answers About Alzheimer's, but the information that Debra shares is also relevant to those of us that are living with Lewy body. And in this short, she uses a small puppet and talks about some dementia holiday tips and how you can maybe better help someone, that one of your loved ones that might have the diagnosis of dementia. And I found that the tips that she puts forward in this short that she has, um, they were kind of spot on to what I know that I experienced, and what I would say probably most of us uh, that are affected with Lewy body or any type of dementia. These tips for your loved ones on how to help you to manage your holiday visits. And this goes beyond just holiday visits. It's any time that you're getting together as a family or as friends come together. This advice, I think, hits the nail pretty much on the head. And so I wanted to share with the listeners what this is, that the tips that she puts forward, because I really did find it to be kind of spot on. So the puppet that she uses, she refers to as Dottie dementia. And so here's the dementia holiday tips from Debra Kostiw and her program on YouTube, which is Answers About Alzheimer's.
Hey, it's me, Daddy Dementia. I have some tips for you for successful holiday visits with your person with dementia. So the first thing is, please know that I have to balance activities with rest. So make sure to keep the visits short. I can only manage 2 to 3 hours maximum. Even if I'm having a good time at that 2 hours, it's time to go. The next one is try not to have too many people all at once. This confuses me and I get very agitated because I can't follow the conversations and I actually get kind of scared with all these noises. So please try to keep the guest list down to a minimum. And if I'm starting to get agitated or overwhelmed, please have a nice quiet place for me to go to and relax all by myself or maybe with just one special person. Or it's time to take me home. It's okay if things don't go as planned, but just be patient with me. And if I can't handle it, it's okay to end the visit early. Really, it's okay. I'd rather be calm than be upset with a bunch of people. So I hope you have a great holiday. And if I haven't told you, I'm your person with dementia, and I do really love you, even though I may not show it. I love you, and I may not understand the holidays anymore, but I do understand the love and the happiness and joy that goes along with it. So please share that with me. I love you.
Well, I would have to say that if you just listen to that piece, that you would probably find that you would have to agree with most of what uh, Deborah is conveying to folks, and in keeping your visits either short or with periods of rest. Um, a good friend of mine, Mike, who's been on the show before, him and I talk quite frequently about the need to give your body time for rest and what we call rest and reset. And that's exactly what it is a time to rest so that you can reset and be better prepared to handle what's coming next. Not having too many people, because with too many people, it does make it hard to follow uh, conversations. And oftentimes you have more than one conversation taking place when you have a large group of people gathering together, whether it be friends or family. And so when you get all these conversations, we're trying to keep track of those. However, you have to, I know that for myself, it becomes clutter that's coming in and I can't process it. And it tends to overstimulate me. And that overstimulation tends to make me feel agitated because I feel like I should be able to, but I can't. And so I'm getting frustrated and I'm getting agitated as the stimulation level goes up. And she also suggests that maybe if you're having your loved one to your house, that you have a quiet space where they can go to, and perhaps, if you will, disengage the source of their overstimulation for a while. Give them a place to rest for a little bit, and or perhaps maybe it's just time to go home, as she suggests. And these are the things that family, I think, has a hard time digesting. Is that visiting with me now is different. I know that I used to love to have my kids and my grandkids here during the holidays and their spouses. And today, where I am, it's just too much, and it doesn't make for a quality visit for either myself or my loved ones if I'm becoming overstimulated. When I did the piece on Showtime and overstimulation, I talked about how we don't like people seeing or recognizing what's wrong. Nobody wants that. Most everybody wants to appear like everything's okay, and but the Showtime is something that can only be maintained for a little while before the overstimulation breaks down the showtime, and agitation and frustration quickly follow. And so these tips that Deborah has, I think, are certainly worth um, listening to and looking into and considering. The I was I was kind of taken aback by just how spot on um, her uh, her perception of what it's like it is. It's here you have Deborah, who went through Alzheimer's with her mom and certainly has plenty of experience working with people that have Alzheimer's and other types of dementia, and has a lot of experience with teaching people how to better deal with their loved ones. However, the flip side of that is that I'm actually someone who lives on the other side. I'm not on the caregiver side. I'm on the side of the person who actually has the dementia. And I know that some of the things that I've seen in the past where people are on the other side as a caregiver, they're, and you see this a lot on the social media groups, there are a lot of people who think that they understand what it's like to be on the other side. And they think they understand that what they're doing is maybe what they consider to maybe be a good idea. However, I would challenge you to listen to and your loved one and talk to your loved one about what they are experiencing and give them a chance to articulate that best they can. Because it sometimes what people's perception is about how to best deal with you could be never be further from what it is that you actually need as the person living with dementia. But in this case, I found Debra's short presentation to be very spot on, and I think it would be a great piece to share with your loved ones, or to share with guests that are coming to your house, to share it with them in advance so that they perhaps are more understanding of where you are and what kinds of things create uncomfortable situations for you. No, I don't think anybody, none of family or friends, they don't want you to become overstimulated, and they don't want you to become agitated. None of that is done intentionally. They don't want you to be uncomfortable, but a lot of people don't understand what's happening internally with you or with me when you're at these types of gatherings. They're all enjoying themselves, and they can actually engage in multiple conversations and all the things that we used to be able to do that we can't do anymore. And so I really found these tips to be great, and I hope that you will find them that way as well. And I hope that you will maybe take some time to check out Debra's um, YouTube channel, and it's certainly got some good information there. And I'm really glad that Debra reached out to me to open up a dialogue with me to do some collaborative work. I know that some of the things that we've talked about bringing to this program are, some tips and some advice on how to handle behaviors and better handle communication, how to handle someone who's having hallucination. And I think the other area that we've talked about is elder abuse, and that happens. And unfortunately, it happens probably too often. I'm sure that a certain amount of elder abuse is brought on by caregivers becoming very frustrated with what they are being presented with by us. So, any tips that we can get on how to better communicate, better to lessen behaviors on both sides of the spectrum, I think is advantageous information, and certainly something that I look forward to having some collaborative conversations with Debra about. You can find Debra's videos on YouTube at Answers About Alzheimer's, and you search that on YouTube, and you'll certainly find Debra Kostew's programs and her short videos, and I think you'll find a lot of that information quite helpful. So as we go into next year, and I look forward to having more guests on the program, and continuing to bring as much awareness as I can to living with Lewy body, and as many helpful areas of research and helpful areas that I find, or programs that I find, whatever. If I find something that I feel is going to be helpful, I certainly want to share it with my listeners. If anybody has any suggestions as to what they would like to maybe hear more content on, certainly I can be found on Facebook at Living with Louie Podcast. I can be, you can also sign up to join our Living with Louie Podcast page on Facebook. And you can also email me at livingwithlouiepodcast@yahoo.com. And we will certainly do our best to try to address what it is that you would like to have more information on. So I'd like to thank you, and I hope that you've had a wonderful year, and I hope that you'll have a wonderful new year in 2024. Please remember, folks, that we are 100% voluntarily funded by our listeners. So please go to the link at the bottom of your favorite podcast provider, and you'll find a link there that says support the show, or you can find us on GoFundMe under Living with Louie Podcast, and every dollar counts, and every dollar helps. So please take a minute and go in and support the show. We certainly would appreciate it. The only thing we try to do is cover our operating costs and equipment maintenance costs. So we thank you, and have a great day. We'd like to thank you for joining us for this edition of Living with Louie.